This conference will now
Okay.
be recorded.
Good morning, everybody. We'll start our second class here.
Good morning, sir.
So, good morning. So, based on the previous class, as you have seen that when an AC current, that is a sinusoidal current, is applied to a resistance or inductance or capacitance, we have seen that a resistance is going to be offering in phase with voltage away from there. Okay. So, whenever some current is passed, whenever some current is passed, are we able to see the screen?
Right now it's not visible, sir.
No, sir.
Now is it okay? Now we'll see.
No, sir.
I'm putting the PPT.
Yes, sir. No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. The PPT is it okay? Visible. We'll see that now. So, whenever a sine wave is applied to a resistance here, then that resistance is going to be having an allow for both V and I. That is, voltage and currents are placed in phase, right? Voltage and currents will be placed in phase with resistance now. Okay, so that here you will be having both V and I are in phase. That is, their zero crossing points of V and I are crossing the x-axis at the same instant of time. This can be said that V and I are said to be in phase. Voltage and currents are in resistance are said to be in phase. So that the power factor of that circuit will be the power factor a power factor of that circuit, that is cos phi, where phi is an angle between V and I. This phi is 0. Hence, a cos phi is equal to 0. That is, cos 0 degrees is equal to 1. Therefore, the power factor in a resistance for AC circuit is equal to 1. Unity power factor. Now, similarly, in case of an inductor here, if I can apply V and I for the inductor, then voltage is going to be leading the current waveform by 90 degrees, right? Voltage is going to be leading the current waveform by 90 degrees, and hence the power factor in an inductor is equal cos 90, 0 degrees. Okay, 0 degrees. So hence in an inductor here the cos phi is equal to 0 degrees, so that the power factor in the inductor is equal to 0. And similarly for the case of an And again, inductive reactance offered by the inductor to AC current is given as XL. And inductive reactance XL is equal to 2 pi FL. And similarly, for the case of a pure capacitor here,
Yeah.
now the current waveform, okay, current waveform, uh, current waveform is going to be leading the voltage waveform by 90 degrees, 90 degrees here. Therefore, in case of the capacitor also here, the power factor can become 0. The power factor can become 0 because cos 90 is equal to 0. Okay. Now, the reactance offered by the capacitance for an AC current is given as the capacitive reactance and XC is equal 1 by 2 pi FC. It is 1 by 2 pi FC. It is 1 by 2 pi FC. It is actually 1 by 2 pi and FC. So that these are the fundamental things as you can see from whenever an AC current is applied through pure inductance, resistance and capacitances. Now we will see that an inductance is going to be offering a reactance of offering a reactance of XL or to the an XL to the flow of an AC current, and capacitance is going to be an offering a reactance called as an X is equal 1 by 2 pi FC. 1 by 2 pi and FC here. 1 second. So that similarly here also we will start our case here. We'll solve some problems. We'll try to solve some problems on inductive capacitance and effects there. So we'll take some example here. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I am sliding a book here. I will share this book to you also. I will put it in your group. So that summary is that in a resistance V and I, voltage and currents are in phase. In a resistance V and I are in phase. So that means the impedance offered by the resistance Z is equal R only. Whereas the imaginary term for the resistance is equal to 0. Okay. Now in this form of an impedance is in rectangular form, and this is in polar form, a magnitude and an angle. So vector diagram or phasor diagram for the case of resistance is equal V and I are drawn in phase. And similarly for the case of an inductance, current I is lagging behind the voltage by 90 degrees. The rectangular form of impedance can be given as plus JXL. It's polar form. It is a vector diagram. And similarly for the case of capacitance, here current I is leading the voltage V by 90 degrees here. So that its impedance is equal to minus JXC in polar form and in rectangular form. This is the vector diagram for that one. Okay, fine. Now, based upon this one, we will be seeing the circuits of RL and RL, RC and RLC series circuits and parallel circuits. Now, we'll try to understand this one. We'll try to solve this problem. Find out the resistance and inductance or a capacitance of a given impedances. Here the frequency is given a 50 hertz. So that here the first case it is Z is equal to 25 and at an angle of 45 degrees. So that this is in the form of polar form, and this form is to be converted into rectangular form by using your calculator. But did you practice how to convert polar form to rectangular form and rectangular form to polar form in your calculators? So, by following the link I have provided in the previous slides, we can convert this polar form into a rectangular form. So we can calculate R and XL value separately, where an XL can be given as 2 pi XL, so that we can calculate the inductance value, and L is equal to XL by 2 pi F. And similarly for the second bit, this is in the form of R plus JXL. That is, it is the rectangular form. For this rectangular form, from that one directly you can get R and L values directly. R plus JXL, R value and XL value. So that you can calculate inductance also. Now the third one is also in the rectangular form. So similarly, you can differentiate resistance and capacitance and inductance also. Okay. Now these are the power equations as we have seen in the previous classes. Now we will apply the same thing. We will try to solve
అమ్మాయి
this
ఎన్నిసార్లు
problem.
వేసాను మాకు నుంచి
We will try to solve this one here.
మీరంటే బాగా చేస్తాను, నేనేం చేయలేను.
Okay. Now for this circuit, we are going to be drawing some circuits here. So for this circuit, we will try to solve this problem now. One second. This is a series RLC circuit. For the series RLC circuit, we need to find out the sinusoidal voltage across the capacitor, resistance and inductance, where the input voltage and applied is equal 10 cos 500t, so that omega is equal 500t, 500, and this cos function is to be converted. Now this cos function can be converted into sine function as sin omega t plus 90 degrees, sin 90 plus theta. We can convert this cos into a sine. Now, so that now we can calculate V. So that now we can calculate V here. V is equal to Vm sin and omega t plus theta. Comparing that one, we can calculate omega is equal to 500 and peak value, maximum value is equal to 10 volts, and theta, that is here the phase angle theta in this case is given as 0 degrees. A cos 0 can become 0 if theta is equal to 9 degrees, so that it is 9 degrees here. RMS value is equal to Vm by root 2, so we can calculate this one. Now inductive reactance XL, and inductive reactance and XL is equal to, and inductive reactance and XL is equal 2 pi FL or omega L, so that you can calculate omega L is equal to 10 ohms, and capacitor reactance and X is equal to 1 by omega C, or that can also be called a 1 by 2 pi FL so that you can calculate by substituting an F is equal to 50 Hz, and so that you can calculate an Xc value is equal to 20 watts, that is 2 pi FL. I'm just substituting the values here. I'm just substituting the values. So that you can simply calculate the inductive reactance XL value and XC values in that circuit. Now total impedance of series RL circuit is equal this resistance part plus the total reactive part. Okay, by substituting that one, we can calculate this one. But keep in mind that while doing the calculations here, divisions and multiplications are to be done in polar form. Addition and subtractions are to be done in rectangle form here. You must compulsory follow that one. So that now voltage across resistance is equal I into R. You can calculate this. And similarly, voltage across inductance can also be calculated I into XL. And the capacitance voltage can also calculate I into an XL. A very simple problem. Very simple problem for understanding that one. Similarly, for the also, as you have seen in that one case. Now, I would like to tell you some fundamental things. Okay, some fundamental things. Think about fundamental things of a resistance, conductance, susceptance, and everything. Somebody. Okay, now we'll see some of the fundamental definitions here. That is, resistance has one of that. This is the option offered to the flow of current. Now,
mic off check. Yashwant.
Okay. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
We'll continue. Now, we'll talk about some of the definitions of resistance. Resistance, as we know that this is an opposition offered to the flow of electric current, and reactance, as you have seen, for an a capacitor plus an inductor, that is an XC and XL. That is, an XC and XL are called a reactances offered by the inductance and capacitance XL and XC for the flow of an AC current. Similarly, here the third term to be understood is an impedance Z. Z is the combination of Z is the combination, that is, an impedance is the combination of resistance and reactance. And similarly, we'll define the other term called as an admittance Y. Okay, an admittance Y. But here the admittance Y is defined as the term of reciprocal of Z. Reciprocal of Z it is. Reciprocal of Z is called an admittance. And similarly here, the next one to be understand to get understand is susceptance. 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 So for here, susceptance is 1 by X, or an impedance can be called as Z is equal R plus XL, or Z is equal R minus J XC for the capacitance. Similarly, here an admittance is called as Y is equal to G minus R plus of JB, where G is the conductance, 1 by R actually it is, and susceptance is 1 by X, that is reciprocal of reactance can be called a susceptance. Reciprocal of reactance is called a susceptance, and reciprocal of resistance is called a conductance.
Sir, 1 second, sir. Sir, pin number 40. Pin number 40. Sir, pin number 40 is on. Continue, sir.
Okay.
Continue,
Now,
sir.
1 by X is called a susceptance. Its units are Siemens or mho. Sorry, okay. And admittance units are mho, and susceptance units are 1 by X. 1 by X. Susceptance here, and susceptance is going to be measured in terms of Siemens or mho. That is equal to Y. It is Siemens. Susceptance units is equal to Siemens. So these are the important bits. There are bits here. Units of susceptance is equal to Siemens. Siemens can be indicated with mho. MHO, mho. Symbol for the susceptance is B, capital B, where susceptance is called a 1 by X. 1 by and X is called as susceptance. 1 by reactance is called a susceptance. 1 by R is called as conductance. 1 by R is called as conductance there. Okay. So for here, admittance Y is equal to 1 by Z. I is equal to 1 by Z is called as an admittance. 1 by Z is equal to Y. 1 by R is equal to G. 1 by X is equal to B. So that Y is equal to G plus or minus JB. Units for the conductance is 1 by R, 1 by ohm, that is mho. 1 by R is equal to mho. Units for the susceptance, 1 by X is equal, then again mho. Units for the admittance, 1 by Z is equal to again mho. All are going to be measured in terms of mho. Is clear, understood? Have you understood? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
So they are important bits for the competitive examination sake. I am telling. Definition of resistance, reactance, impedance, and admittance, of susceptance, and conductance are totally 6 parameters. 1 by R is called as G, 1 by an X is called as B, 1 by Z is called as phi. Okay. Now we will proceed further. After knowing these fundamental things here, we'll go move forward. We can solve these problems with your calculators, and I will share this link also to you after completion of this class. If you are facing any difficulty when solving the problems, then you can contact me. It's only practice with your calculators. It's only just a practice with your calculators. Now similarly, we'll start now. We'll start another one called as power. One second, I will call you again.
Yes, sir.
I will open a window. Now we'll talk about something about the power here. The power here. Now the power is defined as a product of V, I, and phase angle between V and I. Okay, phase angle between V and I. Or the phase angle between V and I are to be measured with the help of a vector diagram. Now, the phase angle between V and I, if I can take a cosine of the phase angle between V and I, or that can be called as cos phi, that is power factor cos phi. Now, simply an equation for the power P is equal V into I into cos phi. V into I into cos phi. V into I into cos phi. So, Vi into cos phi can be simply called as power. If I can change that one into something like real power, reactive power, and etc. here, real power, reactive power, and etc. Now, that can be defined as, that is here I am writing here. So that here the power can be written as P is equal to V and I, small values for an AC, into cos phi. Now this is the power factor between V and I. So that there is a power triangle is there. That power triangle is, we will be taking the 3 powers: an active power P, reactive power Q, and an apparent power S, where P is an active power. P is called an active power. There are 3 powers are there. We'll talk about that one. So that here the P is called an active power. This angle between P and S is is the power factor angle phi. What is the power factor angle phi? Or in other words, in case of an impedance triangle, if you can see the impedance triangle also, so that this is your Z, this is your R, and this is your reactive terms X. Okay, so that this is the phase angle phi. This is the phase angle between R and Z is called as phi. This is your Z. R and Z is called phi. So that here this term can become cos phi and this term can become sin phi. This is sin phi. This is cos phi. So that this ratio, this can become tan phi. This can become the tan phi. So that here an active power P is given as V into I is called as the power, or in other words, simply saying here. Now in this triangle, we can say that here tan phi is equal to, I will draw again. So now in this triangle, we can write that here that the tan phi is equal to S P and reactive power Q. This is the power factor angle phi. So that here tan phi is equal to what it become, Q by P, sin by cos. That is, Q is called a reactive power and P is called as an active power. P is called as an active power. So here apparent, S is called as the apparent power. S is called as the apparent power and P is called as real power. P is called as the real power. P is called as real power and Q is called a reactive power. Reactive power it is. And S is called as an apparent power. This triangle is called as power triangle. This is also important from the examination point of view, I am telling. An apparent power. An apparent power it is. So that if you want to write the equations for an active power, real power, P is equal to VI into cos phi. VI, voltage and current across an element or a circuit into cosine of that angle phi. VI cos phi is called a real power or true power, or simply saying that it is power. Its units for the real power is watt, W-A-T-T, or simply saying that watt it is. And reactive power Q is nothing but VI into sin phi. Reactive power Q is equal to VI into sin phi, sine of this angle. Are you following? Respond anybody? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
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 sir.
sir.
So
sir.
this power triangle is going to be playing an important role in the future onwards. Second year, third year, or etc. onwards, we'll be talking about these powers there and measurement of their powers. Now, reactive power can be indicated with capital Q, which can be given by Vi into sine of this angle phi. Its units for the reactive power I are V and I, that is volt ampere. Volt ampere. Volt ampere. Reactive power in that it is VAR. Units for the reactive power as volt ampere reactive. Volt ampere reactive. Now, units for the an active power is equal watts. And its equation is equal Vi cos phi. That can be indicated with a capital letter P. An active power, a real power, or true power. Reactive power can be indicated with Vi sin phi. Now its units of the reactive power are VAR. Now stands for volt ampere reactive. And similarly, the third one is an apparent power and indicated with an apparent power indicated with S. Right? That is being indicated with letter and S for an apparent power. Now here the apparent power can be, its equation is Vi only. Vi is called an apparent power. Its units for the apparent power are volt ampere. Simply V and A. V and A. These are the three powers we'll be having here. So generally the rating of an equipment can be given in terms of an active power P. An active power P. Now, but it is a common practice to provide the full capacity of an equipment in terms of an apparent power VA only, volt ampere. For example, if you want to purchase a battery for your an inverter, UPS services, or etc. for the small Nippo company batteries also, we will not talk about the power P for the battery. Now the capacity of a battery will be indicated in terms of volt ampere, 12 VA, 12 volt ampere, or etc. So that a capacity of an equipment can be given in terms of an apparent power. Within that capacity, real power available for that equipment is called as Vi cos phi, that is a true power P. In terms of watts here. Now, what is the significance of the real power or the active power or the true power P? Because the true power P is the power that is going to do an active work. That this is the true power that is going to be doing some work. For example, if I wanted to rotate a fan, now for the rotation of the fan, I require to do some work. That work is going to be done by this real power P. That is going to be measured in terms of watts there. Now, what is the significance of the reactive power now? Reactive power is the power that is going to be carrying an active power from point 1 to point 2. Or simply saying, the reactive power is a carrier. A carrier that carries the real power P between 2 points. So that a carriage for the active power P is the reactive power. Without the reactive power Q, they cannot transmit the power between 2 points. So that in order to transmit the power between 2 points, we require a transmitter. That transmitter can be called as reactive power Q. Reactive power Q only. And the capacity of the total equipment can be given in terms of an apparent power S. Reactive power would not be too much long, and reactive power would not be too much small. So for example, I will tell you the practical case here. Now for the case of an inductance, here, where XL is the reactive component offered for the flow of an AC current. A cos phi for the case of an inductor is equal to 0. But the power factor of a pure inductor is equal to 0. That is, the phase angle between V and I in case of an inductor is 90 degrees. So that an active power for the case of a pure inductor is equal to 0. Now the reactive power in case of a pure inductor is equal to Vi into sin phi. Sin 90 is equal to 1. So that reactive power in the inductance is maximum, whereas the active power in the inductance is equal to 0. And similarly for the case of capacitance also, for the case of pure capacitance also, where the phase angle between V and I in a pure capacitance is again equal to 90 degrees. So that our active power in a pure capacitance can become 0, but the reactive power in a pure capacitance can become maximum. Because of this reason, while studying about the basic properties of RLC in the first chapter, I have taken the fundamental rule that a resistance can consume the power. That is, resistance is going to be consuming an active power P. But capacitance and inductance cannot consume the power. Because of this reason, because the power factor of capacitance and inductance is exactly and perfectly equal to 0. So that here an inductance and the capacitance cannot consume active power. So they cannot take the active power, but they can store the power in terms of a magnetic field for the inductance and an electric field for the capacitance. But the power consumed by the inductance and the capacitance is perfectly 0. It is perfectly 0 here, perfectly 0. Is it clear? Okay. Do you understand the first unit topics now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why the inductance and capacitance cannot consume power? Because of this reason. Because of this reason, an inductance and capacitance cannot consume power. That is, they cannot dissipate the power, because the power factor angle in inductance and capacitance is equal to 90 degrees. So that cos 90 can become 0. So that the pure power, that is how the power taken by the L and C is perfectly 0. Perfectly 0. So that the active power in L and C is equal to 0. And second property of L and C is that they can store the energy in the form of a magnetic field of half Ls square and an electric field of half Cv square for the capacitance and inductance. Because of this reason only. Because of this reason only here. Okay. So based upon this one, now we can solve various problems. Various problems related to what to say, powers. What is the active power, what is the reactive power of some circuits, or etc here. Okay. Now coming to the next point now for this class, acceptance and conductance. You can solve this one. They'll apply for calculators. This is the Chakravarti textbook. It is this one. We will be having this textbook, I hope. Now, whatever the laws of Kirchhoff law, KVL law and KCL laws are there. Now the same laws can be applicable to also. We can apply the same principle of KVL and KCL to an AC circuit. We will try to solve some problems for the AC circuits and again for their theorems now. And afterwards we can finish this class. I will show you something about KVL and KCL for the circuit. Second chapter I have to go. One second. Follow this. I am searching for this topic. Whatever the KVL and KCL laws are there, or the same laws and again the same theory can be applicable for an AC circuits also. Without any hesitation, you can apply the same things. I will just show you some fundamental things only. The only thing is that we will be having in terms of Z, J, and omega for these circuits here. Frequency domain is to be done in this one. Remaining concept and everything, the source transformation technique can be applicable for this one also. And the Thevenin's theorem, Norton's theorem, maximum power transfer theorem can be superposition theorem, and each are directly applicable for this one. So generally here a circuit, whether the circuit may be of an AC or DC, or the circuit can be solved by means of using nodal analysis. Nodal analysis meaning that we are going to be using Kirchhoff current law, nodal analysis. Now a second analysis called as mesh analysis. Mesh analysis meaning that it is based on KVL law, here. And third technique to solve the circuits is by same chapter of source transformation. As you have practiced some of the problems in case of first unit here, but here also we can solve the same problems for an AC supplies also with super node technique and super mesh technique and source transformation, series circuits and parallel circuits, same thing, and same thing can be solved here. I will just show you for an AC circuit how to solve a circuit by using an AC circuit. And similarly, the star delta transformation can also be useful for an AC and DC also. Our same formulas can be applied for an AC also. Without any hesitation, you can apply the same formulas of star and delta transformation, and similarly from delta to star transformation also by using an AC circuits also, no problem. Okay. I will show you now. DC circuits, these are. Yes. Now there is a circuit here. There is a circuit here. Now in the network shown, determine the voltage VB, which results zero current through a 2 plus J3 impedance branch. So that in order to pass a zero current through this branch, voltage of this branch should be equal to the voltage at this node and at this node of this branch should be equal in magnitude and phase. So whenever the voltage at node 1 and node 2 are equal and opposite in phase, then no current flows in this circuit, no current flows in this branch. We'll check that one. Now there are two circuits here with 30 voltage source and VB. Now we can solve this circuit by means of using nodal analysis at nodes 1 and 2, or by means of using the second technique as KVL for this loop 1, loop 2 and loop 3 KVL method, and third method is that superposition theorem. What is the superposition theorem? If in a circuit, if there are more than one source is there, then response due to all sources is equal to the response due to each of the individual source number 1 and source number 2. Okay, we'll try to solve the circuit with the help of superposition theorem. So first of all, we will find out the response due to 30 voltage source acting alone. So whenever you want to find out response due to this voltage source, now other voltage source is to be made deactivated. Deactivating of other voltage source is meaning that this voltage source is to be short circuited. So that here this voltage source is being short circuited, and you can find the and then you can simplify this circuit to find out the current passing through 2 plus J3 ohms. This can be solved in different manners also. No problem here. Different manners also. So that here has taken that 6 and 4 ohm branches are in parallel. 6 and 4 ohm branches are in parallel. So that their parallel equivalent 6 into 4 by 6 plus 4, 24 by 10, 2.4 ohms. This is the parallel equivalent of 6 and 4. So that you can calculate the current passing through this series branch now. You can calculate the current passing through this series branch now. Okay. By simply applying Arduino technique unit, you can apply the current passing through this branch. Or else if I can apply KVL law for this one, loop 1 and loop 2. You can calculate the second loop current I2 here. Okay. But keeping in mind that now I'd say addition and subtractions are to be done in rectangular form, and addition and subtraction are to be done in rectangular form, and multiplication and division are to be done in polar form. I will show you. So addition of these three branches, that is 2 plus 2.4, 4.4 ohms, right? It is 4.4 ohms plus J3. This addition is being done in rectangular form of 2 plus J3 plus 2.4 ohms, so that it is 4.4 real part 4.4 plus an imaginary part of plus J3. Now this and this are in parallel now. J5 and 4.4 plus J3 are now in parallel. So that their parallel equivalent is to be done. So that the parallel equivalent of these two one is equal this branch impedance in this branch impedance. I am writing here. It is 4.44 4.4 plus J3 into J5 divided by 4.4 plus J3 plus J5. It is 4.4 plus J3 plus J5. So that here now in the denominator J3 plus J5 can become J8. I will write here. Denominator component is 4.4. It is 4.4 plus J.
Sir.
So J3 plus J5 is equal to J8. This addition is to be done in rectangular form. But here in the numerator term, there is a form of 4.4 plus J3 into J5. They cannot perform the multiplication of this two one in rectangular form. This multiplication is to be done in this with the help of polar form only, so that we need to convert 4.4 plus J3 into polar form. That is here the fundamental thing of mathematics is that an addition and multiplication and division of two vectors is to be done in polar form, so that 4.4 plus J3 is to be converted into a polar form in our calculators, and J5 is to be converted into polar form in our calculators. Or then afterwards only we can perform a multiplication of those two. This rule is to be followed strictly. We cannot do the multiplication of these two in rectangular form. What for that one we require to practice on our calculators. Now then after doing that one, we can simplify this one. Okay. To that one, it is our series component to that equivalent is plus 5. Real part of 5. Okay. So current I1 and I2 can be calculated in this manner. That is what I want to say, that now for the AC circuits, procedure and the things are same for DC circuits also. But the only thing is that you need to perform multiple transformation from rectangular form to polar form. Multiple transformations are to be done from rectangular form to polar form, or then again from the polar form to rectangular form. So now in that manner you can find out the response due to 30 voltage source. Our response due to 30 voltage source there. First source we can calculate response now. You can calculate response due to this voltage source. Now in the second case we will be taking VB only. So while calculating response due to the VB, now this 30 voltage source is to be short circuited. This 30 voltage source is to be short circuited. So that now by short circuiting the 30 voltage source, we can find out a response due to VB only here. You can observe here that. You can observe that. And similarly, by following the same manner, here J5 and J3 are again in J5 and JA3 are again in parallel. These are parallel. What is the resultant? Again 2 plus J3 is in series. What to the resultant? Again it is in parallel. What to the resultant? And again it is in series. It is in series. So you can find out the response due to VB now. How the total response due to both of the sources is an algebraic sum of the two sources. An algebraic sum or division of the two sources, so that we can calculate VB now. VB is clear. Okay. Did you understand the problem? Respond please. Do you understand how to solve this problem? Hello.
Yes, sir.
The only
sir.
thing is you require to practice is required. You take your pen and paper and calculator. You take pen and paper and calculator to practice all these problems. To practice all these problems. A demonstration of this problem in the live demonstration, it may not be possible for clear picture. So that you just take some pen and paper and take your calculator to practice all these problems. Okay. Shall we finish this class? Shall we close?
Your choice, sir.
And afternoon, do you have any class in the afternoon session?
No, sir.
No, sir.
To practice these problems, I will share you this textbook to your CR. Hemant also. To practice with the help of your calculators. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.